Here are 3 major ways the Big Beautiful Bill will affect Utahns. More than 188,000 Utahns could lose access to health insurance after President Donald Trump signed the Big Beautiful Bill into law last week. The mega budget bill includes the bulk of the president's domestic agenda, and the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office has projected that it will add an estimated $3.4 trillion to the national deficit. The bill makes current tax rates permanent, increases funding for border enforcement, ends tax breaks for some renewable energy projects, and, among other things, makes major changes to the Medicaid and Affordable Care Act programs that could put the health coverage of nearly 12 million Americans at risk. Among the most major spending cuts in the bill are changes to the Medicaid and Affordable Care Act programs. The bill imposes, for the first time, national work requirements for some Medicaid recipients, able-bodied adults without children, and institutes more frequent eligibility checks. Lawmakers also lowered provider taxes, which are taxes on hospitals that help to fund Medicaid, and made a number of changes to the Affordable Care Act program, including ending premium tax credits that help millions of people across the country afford insurance through the ACA marketplace. The CBO has estimated that nearly 12 million people across the country could lose access to health coverage under the new law. Another estimate from the Washington Post was even higher, estimating that 17 million Americans could lose access to care, while Democratic staff for the Congressional Joint Economic Committee estimated that in Utah alone, the changes in the Big Beautiful Bill could put the health coverage of more than 188,000 Utahns at risk. These changes could also hit rural hospitals, which get a significant portion of their insurance reimbursements from Medicaid, particularly hard.
The bill also took a swing at renewable energy. The Inflation Reduction Act, passed under President Biden in 2022, introduced clean energy tax credits for wind, solar, geothermal, hydropower, and energy storage systems. But the Big Beautiful Bill axes those tax breaks for wind and solar. Opponents say the move will slow down the country's transition to cleaner sources of energy, while the effects of climate change worsen. The loss of tax credits will likely also be bad for energy businesses in Utah and across the U.S., forcing layoffs and making many projects financially impossible. Supporters argue that wind and solar aren't reliable energy sources, and Trump himself has said that he thinks wind and solar farms are ugly. Biden-era tax credits remain in place for nuclear, geothermal, and battery storage systems.
The bill made current tax rates that were originally passed under Trump's first term and had been set to expire permanent. It also expanded the child tax credit, a credit for families with children under the age of 17, from $2,000 to $2,200 for each child. The bill also includes 2 new major provisions: no taxes on tips or overtime, up to $25,000 on tips and $12,500 on overtime for those filing solo. Those provisions are not permanent and are set to expire at the end of 2028.